everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
I was just gonna.
We're so used to three.
I know. I just went into autopilot to take over.
Yeah.
You're watching sequels. So many
everyone.
sequels.
This is the show. We are talking about. We've been talking about James Bond for like a month now. This is the one we've done. We're doing Daniel Craig. We're leading up to No Time to Die, the long-awaited final Daniel Craig James Bond movies. This is last time, so this is like the penultimate. We're talking about Spectre. Exactly. Came out in 2015, directed by Sam Mendes, who also brought us Skyfall. This one, we've got. I lost his name. What's his name? Christoph Waltz as the bad guy this time around. Really just Christoph Waltz is a delicious villain actor.
Yes, he is.
Really good.
He's great no matter what.
So we've got the aftermath of Skyfall, where our original M, Judi Dench, has died, and we have a new M, Ralph Fiennes. We've met Q, and this time Bond is kind of going rogue a bit, which he is wont to do.
He's very prone to going rogue.
He's very prone to going rogue. Yada yada yada. Christoph Waltz shows up. We find out a big twist reveal connection between him and Bond. We find out that he was responsible for the death of M and Vesper, and he's also
at his adoptive father.
I was going to say,
James' adoptive father.
They're like family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big. Yes. So, I think everybody. I think I'm the only one who's seen this movie twice. So I want to hear from anyone else first.
I'll go because this is I don't know how to explain this. I enjoyed this movie. I don't think it was good, but I enjoyed it. I think that this was the James Bond I've been expecting based on my pop culture stereotypes, right? This was the closest thing that I have seen so far in the Daniel Craig series that makes me think of the James Bond that I assume, and also gets the Austin Powers stuff that I am more familiar with, right? You have your evil mastermind villain. You have your useless henchman who's really unnecessary and has a stupid hitch with Batista, who squeezes people's eyes in this.
I forgot
his fingernails, his thumbnails are painted because that's his weapon. And
were they painted or were they daggers? I thought they were little daggers on his thumbs.
Either way, okay, that makes more sense. I thought they were just painted because that was his like weapon, his thumb.
Don't challenge this man to a thumb war, all right? He's deadly.
That deadly thing.
And so it was really stupid, but it was funny. Right. It was what I expected. I also thought that the opening gag or the opening action scene was humorous in a way that it hadn't been before. You're used to seeing these high intense action scenes where somebody's always like climbing to higher things and it's like building and building and building. And this one was very calm and James was very smooth. And he just like walked out the window and smoothly walked along the buildings as all that other stuff was happening. And then he like fired 2 shots and the whole building exploded. And it was hilarious to me because I didn't expect it. And then whenever he's falling through the buildings and he like lands on that couch, I found that funny. And those are the things that I kind of expected getting into the James Bond series that I hadn't been given. And so I was very excited to be given those. Having said that, I think that the movie itself is not that great. I think it's fun. I think Christoph Waltz is very underutilized until the second half of the movie, and then he really does a good job. I think Batista's underutilized the whole thing. I know that he probably at that time wasn't the Batista he is now, but still. But it was just fine.
All right.
Yeah, I would like to lead off next.
Okay.
So I agree. I actually quite enjoyed this. I had heard a lot of hullabaloo about how this was not good. A lot of people reviews that I had heard and through the grapevine on Twitter said that this one was disappointing and they didn't enjoy it. But I gotta say, I thought this was fine. I thought this was pretty good, pretty enjoyable. It was pretty straightforward. There wasn't like there was mystery, but there wasn't like I have no idea what's going on kind of mystery. It did steer a little closer to the sort of cheese that I think James Bond became associated with at times, while still having that sort of grittier feel. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to, and I'm having a hard time coming up with something. But it, for me, for the most part, it kept my interest. It moved along at a fairly good pace, even for a 2.5-hour film. I never really checked my watch. It does kind of like I do. The Austin Powers thing you said, Garrett, is very funny. Right down to the big long desk with all the people, and you're just like waiting for him to press a button. And Blofeld is the inspiration for Dr. Evil. So you kind of get that there, but there was a bit more of a fantastic element, and so that was kind of not to a ridiculous degree, but to a kind of like a little more fun. There was a little bit more fun with this James Bond than I felt like there were with especially the first two movies. I did like that Sam Mendes, he's a very good director. I like that he was getting in his 1917 training at the beginning of this movie here, where he does like a 6-minute oneer. Just like you said, Garrett, just seamlessly, like we start with this shot of a parade and then we join James and he's walking along. We make our way through. Very fun, very fluid, open. And I was like, look at Sam Mendes here. He's like, he got to the end of that and he was like, okay, 5 minutes, 55 seconds. I can do better. I can do a whole movie like that. I can figure this out. He's thinking I can do this for 190 minutes. I thought that it was fun. I thought that it was pretty interesting. I think Daniel Craig was good. I always like to see, and I'm going to say a name, you guys aren't going to know who it is, but I always like to see Andrew Scott. He played C, or what's his real name in this? Max Dingy or something like
Moriarty.
that. Yeah, he's Moriarty in Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock, and he has a great version of, at least the great monologue of Richard III that I watched. So I always like seeing him. He's a good actor, and overall, no major complaints. I mean, what can I say? It's weird that it came out in 2015. It feels like 9 years ago, even if it wasn't that long.
Yeah, like when I remember that this came out in 2015, yeah, I started thinking about that, and it was just like, this movie has been out for a little bit. It's not, and we haven't had a Bond movie in between. And I'm like, wow, have we really gone that long without a Bond movie?
It's supposed to be out last year.
It was supposed to be out last year, but even then, that was like 5 years.
5-year break, yeah.
I was wondering at what the Bond break normally is between new or like the same character. I don't feel like 5 years is normal.
Hang on 1 second.
But yeah, Andrew, what did you think of because this is your first time seeing it, right?
This is my first time seeing it. And I liked it, but I didn't like it. I think there was just too much writing off of Skyfall. And I think they were trying to they weren't trying to one up it, but they were trying to be as good as Skyfall. I think it's really cool that they wrap the story around Skyfall. Like these are concluding stories. These are all kind of like episodic in the Daniel Craig verse. And I like how this is working. I will say that this is kind of like one of those things where it's like every other movie is great. So, Casino Royale, really, really good. Quantum of Solace, meh. Skyfall, brilliant. It's absolutely great. And then you have this. To me, this was just, it wasn't like a breakthrough or anything. It was just all right. It was just really good. I really like Christoph Waltz as a villain. He's just so damn enigmatic as a villain. Like he is a villain's villain. He can just pull that off just like that really well. And then
Somebody
just
put him in a damn Batman movie already.
no kidding. And I just like I wasn't there wasn't any like, oh my god moments. There was just like, oh okay, that's cool. You know, it's the even the opening song, Writings on the Wall, was just like, it's all right. So my one review of all this is just like, it's pretty much a run of the mill Bond movie, just with a tiny bit of extra.
Okay, a tiny bit of extra.
That's it.
We all have a tiny bit of extra sometimes.
I will say that it was a tad bit too long.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
The running time did get to me.
You know, I don't really think I could say much more than what has already been said. I pretty much agree. Andrew, I've also heard that other people also feel like this series kind of takes every other one is really good. So like
Star Trek.
Yeah, I've heard it for that too. So if that prophecy holds true, No Time to Die should be fantastic. And some of the early buzz indicates that it might be. So I'm excited for that. But this movie's fine, you know. It is fun. It's got fun moments. I really like the Day of the Dead stuff. I just really like seeing Day of the Dead stuff on film anyway, just because it's so colorful and just
morbidly celebratory.
Yeah, they're interesting visuals that I enjoy seeing.
It can be creepy, it can be fun, it can be a lot. So it is a cool aesthetic to be seen worked into a film. I agree.
Mm-hmm. And then there's fun little. I wanted to point out, you know, some of that classic James Bond stuff that you think of. I really like that he blows up a wristwatch to throw off Christoph Waltz. Like that's a classic Bond gadget. He's got his Aston Martin back. He's zooming around in. So fun, classic Bond stuff like that does show up that I enjoy. But otherwise, you know, I gotta just kind of repeat what you guys said. It is fine. It's enjoyable. It's watchable, but it's probably not super memorable. And I don't remember feeling that way when I saw it the first time either. It's just like, oh, nice. That was, you know, 2.5 hours away from the real world. I guess that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, comparing this to Quantum of Solace, do you guys as Bond people, Josh and Andrew for the most part, is this better than Quantum of Solace? Because I feel like it is.
To me, it is.
Yeah.
It's right above.
Like, there's
I would rank them.
There's more story to this. There's more story to this than
the villain's more interesting in this one.
Yeah.
I quite frankly have already forgotten who the Quantum of Solace villain was.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Green. Don't you remember?
Right. This one you've got.
Did he kill somebody in the conservatory with a wrench?
Right.
I can't remember if that movie worked like it.
He killed. What did he? Yeah. I can't beat that. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You've got better villain. You've got the fun gadgets. So it's better.
I appreciate though the premise of saying, "Hey, Mr. Bond, all of the things you've done, whether it was Le Chiffre in the first one, Quantum and Green in the second one, or Mr. Silva by Javier Bardem, it's all part of this web going back up to this unit known as Spectre, to Blofeld and this, you know, criminal empire that we've been hinting at for quite a while." I think it works. If this had been the last one, it would have been a little bit disappointing. So I'm glad we're getting another one. I feel like the climax of this one lets it down a little bit. That said, yeah, I don't know. It's I can't complain that much.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what it comes to for me too.
So I looked this up for you, Garrett, and we're gonna get into some technicalities here.
Okay.
So this is the longest. There has the 2015 release of Spectre to 2021 release of No Time to Die is the longest gap between the two James Bond movies. However, it is tied for the longest gap featuring the same Bond. Sean Connery stopped playing Bond in 1967 with You Only Live Twice. In 1969, 2 years later, they made another James Bond movie with George Lazenby called On Her Majesty's Secret Service. 2 years after that, Sean Connery returned for Diamonds Are Forever, a 5-year gap after his last James Bond movie, and then that would become his last James Bond movie.
Wow.
So it ties the gap for a singular Bond to return, but there was a Bond movie that came out without him in between that time period.
Interesting.
You're also forgetting Never Say Never Again.
Never Say Never Again.
Never say never.
Is that one in here somewhere?
Yeah, that's like
That's the remake of
1992.
Thunderball, isn't it?
I think so.
Is that the remake of Thunderball he made?
Yeah, it's got. I mean, it's a James Bond movie, but
Yes.
it's also it stars
it's-
Kim Basinger.
Yeah, so this is the non-Eon movies. There's 2 movies, it says here, made that were not made by the Eon studios, which made these last 5 Bond movies and all the other ones except for 1967's Casino Royale and, as you mentioned, Never Say Never Again, which also featured Spectre. So there you go. There you go.
Never seen that one.
Good reference.
I wanted to ask. We have we have 2 experts on the topic in the room right now. I want to talk about Dave Bautista a little bit and his turn from wrestling to acting, because this is one of his early starring roles. He had just done Guardians of the Galaxy the year prior to this, and so this is like his second big screen movie.
Yeah.
How we feel about Dave Bautista at this stage in his career? Was he a good villain?
You know, I was excited when I saw he got this role because I thought that it would be a good showcase for him as sort of a villain type, because we had just had him as Drax, and I thought he could get pinned into that comical superhero role. I think this was overall a pretty good. I mean, like, they didn't ask too much of him here. I think he has literally one line, and he plays the part that's asked of him pretty well. So I mean, that's about as good as you can do in 20 as of then.
Yeah, I think that I was really underwhelmed. I mean, it was not, the opening kill scene with him was not, I don't know. It wasn't that great. I thought it was more humorous. I think he, as an actor in this one, I think that he didn't really have much to do with the part other than kind of look like a big guy running around, and he can just do that in general. I think that it is a bit of a letdown, though, if you look back in time and see the standout performance that he really gave and got a lot of people's attention within Guardians of the Galaxy, and then go into a Bond and do something like this. And I also feel the same way about Christoph Waltz, because around that same time, he was just coming off of the Glorious Bastards. And for him to be cast as
Django Unchained too.
And Django Unchained. And so, like, those are 2 huge roles where he has just stunned people, like, right out the gate. And then he's a Bond villain. It's like, oh my God. And he even was still really underwhelming. While good, I think that he could have been a standout villain. Yeah, and I think that has more to do with the story than him himself, which is unfortunate.
I think I've not watched all of Bautista's films. So it's hard.
It is very inconsistent, I will say. I love Bautista, but some of them are inconsistent.
He's everywhere. He's all over the place. I think in terms of, if you had asked me in 2013 what type of role he would have been suited for, I probably would have said this. Bautista as a professional wrestler never struck me as the greatest actor.
No.
But he was always had the intensity. He had the look. He had the intimidation factor down. But there wasn't a lot of that I would say, oh man, he's a world-class actor or anything like that. So I would have said this is ideal for him. Now, the great thing is that seeing him in Guardians, and even something as recent as Army of the Dead, or the kind of thing that they're going for with him in like Stuber and stuff, he's actually got some pretty good comedic chops. So I've been pleasantly surprised by his post-wrestling career in filmmaking.
I would agree. He's certainly not one that I saw acting star on. I mean, you can look at people like The Rock and they have a lot of charisma whenever they're doing stuff like that. I wouldn't associate Batista with a charismatic. He was, but like not in an acting kind of a way. So he's the one that I feel like is the surprise for me of what, if you stack them up with The Rock and John Cena, he's the one that surprises me the most.
No, because those two, they were all about their promo work was always like top level. And Batista didn't really have to say a lot. He could get away with saying 3 words and just smashing a guy. But I've been pleasantly surprised that Dave's got a lot of personality. I'm looking forward to him in Knives Out 2. I'm going to sneak that in there. I'm looking at his upcoming films.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another reuniting with Daniel Craig for that one.
Maybe he'll have more to do.
Hopefully, that'd be cool. I think in 2015, I probably would have said, "Oh, he's a wrestler? Okay."
Yeah.
I don't even think I knew who he was besides Drax. What did you think of him, Andrew?
I thought he was okay, but I'm kind of with you on the underwhelming aspect. I thought he was just like, I thought he was trying to be too much like Jaws.
Yeah, or Odd Job.
Any of those? Which one threw the hat?
Like
Odd Job.
Odd Job. Yeah.
Random task.
Like when he when he was like trying to like when he was like poking the dude's eyes out, I'm like, if he was really a supervillain, he would just like try to squeeze his head and like
break his head, yeah.
Like crack his head. I mean that's just me.
Hey,
like,
eyeballs are pretty intense.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, I think if you would have shown it, that would have been better. But you didn't see anything. Yeah. I don't like eye stuff. I would have been freaked out if you.
Yeah. What if when he pulled those thumb daggers out of the guy's eyes, his eyeballs were just sitting on his thumbs. I like having
like olives.
I'm looking at myself in the frame, and I like just sitting like, you know what, Garrett, it's perfect because that was his whole thing.
But
that was his whole celebration.
I thought he was just like.
Glad that we understand that. Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, I thought he was okay. I didn't think it was great. But I did think he was very underwhelming, and I didn't get much out of him.
I mean, it's
kind of meh.
The role itself is underwhelming, but I think Dave did fine at what it was, because that was what was asked of him. Play big menacing bad guy.
Yeah. I want to touch on the songs because Andrew brought up the songs, and I don't think we've talked about the songs in any of them. And I gotta be real, I have been underwhelmed by everything by Skyfall in this series. I think that they are all perfectly forgettable.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that Chris Cornell sang his ass off at the beginning of Casino Royale. That was a lot of fun. This was fine. Writing on the Wall, I think, is the theme for this one. Isn't that it?
It's Sam Smith.
Sam Smith's Writing on the Wall won the Oscar. I thought that was fine.
I think that this one was better than some of the other the first two. I think the first two I struggled with a lot.
Oh yeah, Quantum of Solace. Who can even remember?
Well, it was, and that's a shame because it's Jack Black and Alicia Keys.
The thing is that's the one I like the most.
Oh,
really? You like that more than Skyfall?
No, Skyfall was really good because it's Adele, but Jack White and Alicia Keys, I really that's the one I can kind of like hum the most. That's the one that kind of stood with me the most. Because
I didn't think they meshed well together as a duo personally. I don't think their styles matched for me in a way that was pleasing. I like when crossover happened and those two. I mean, those two are so talented. I just didn't think that they hit one out of the park together.
I just I'll
give them a ground with a double.
I mean, you're not wrong, but the thing is that I just that for me is the one I remember the most. I actually really like that song.
Okay.
So
fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. That's the one that I don't remember very well. But yeah, I thought I go hand in hand with the music. I thought that the opening title sequences for these 4 films have been really good. I've enjoyed all of them. You don't get a lot of opening title sequences these days.
Nope.
So This was pretty. These were all pretty enjoyable. I liked in Skyfall. It was sort of like the underwater thing, and he's sinking. I think there's all the card stuff in Casino Royale. I don't remember what Quantum Solace's was. But this one, I have to feel like the Spectre opening title sequence definitely would appeal to a certain demographic who's into tentacle stuff.
In octopuses.
You've said enough.
It was that was all I could think of when it started happening. Anyway, I really liked it though. I liked the skulls that were in it. There's this part where it like builds something, like there's like a beam of light, it builds something, then like this De La Mortis-esque mask rises up, and I was like, oh, that's badass looking. So these opening title sequences have been fun. We need to get more opening title sequences in movies these days.
Bring them back.
Yes.
Bring them back, and bring back the theme song.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Yes.
I have my own rankings, but I don't think I hate any of these songs. And I've been enjoying the No Time to Die theme song for over a year now.
Yes.
Since it was released before the movie.
I wonder if that's going to get
Already a
nominated
Grammy
for-
Award winner. So
Well,
what?
no.
Oh,
You kind of answered my question, which
Oh.
was I wonder if it's going to get nominated for anything because it got released so early and the delay pushed it back so late.
Yeah,
But
probably.
Oscar.
I don't know if they're going to make like a special rule for something like this or not, but we'll see.
I guess we'll find out very soon.
Because I did like the new one.
Yeah, it's good. Billie Eilish is good.
Oh, is it Billie Eilish for the new one?
Billie Eilish did No Time to Die. Yeah.
I have not really listened to it, so I'll be interested to hear it.
Perfect.
It's a good
Well,
one.
Time to die.
It's not that scary. It's not bad guy.
Yeah, I'm the Bond guy. I think I made that joke when
You
that
have
came out.
made the Bond. I think you made that last year when we were waiting for this movie to come out.
I'm nothing if not consistent.
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, let's before we run out of time here, let's move on and talk about how this movie did and
Yeah.
play our guessing games and all that fun stuff.
So Spectre, as we talked about, came out way back in 2015. 2015, opening on October. Interesting. November 6th.
Mhm.
Had the wrong thing pulled up there. Opened November 6th of 2015 to pretty good opening weekend of $70.4 million. It was in the number one spot. Number two, you had the Peanuts movie. I'll have to enunciate that to make sure. The Peanuts movie,
Yep.
Charlie Brown and such, 44 million on that one. At number three, in its sixth weekend, you had The Martian, starring Matt Damon, which brought in $9 million.
Golden
Number-
Globe winner for comedy.
Yeah, comedy, classic comedy, The Martian, with Matt Damon. At number four, Goosebumps brought in 6.8 million, and at number five, Bridge of Spies brought in 5.8.
This is a pretty good lineup. I liked a lot of those movies well
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, and even the rest of the top 10 is not too bad that weekend either. So for the year of 2015, these are domestically. Spectre would go on to make 200 million even in the United States and Canada.
Nice.
Bringing it to the number 10 spot on the year. Anybody want to guess the number one movie of 2015?
Was there a Marvel movie that year?
There was, but it was not number
It's
one.
not the Marvel movie. 2015. Oh my god.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Oh
Go
yes.
ahead, Andrew.
Go ahead, Andrew. Damn it.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
The Force Awakens.
That is correct.
the number one
Okay.
movie of for
With
all time.
with an unsurmountable $936 million domestic, which I don't think will ever be reached, or it'll be very difficult for it to be reached.
Excuse me, Avatar
Yeah.
2.
Oh yeah, we'll see
Don't even
about
put
that.
that in the vein of existence because I know it's possible and I'm upset by it.
So at number two, this is also you guys could potentially guess number two that year was Jurassic World with 652 million. At number three, here's your Marvel movie. It's Avengers Age of Ultron with 459 million.
Mhm.
At number four, this is a good shout, Inside Out, Pixar's Inside Out brought in 356 million. And at number 5, Furious 7. Hard to believe that Furious 7 was just 5 or 6 years ago. I'll round out the rest of the top 10. So you got Minions at number 6, Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2 at 7, a Golden Globe winning The Martian at number 8, and the Cinderella remake, which did better than I thought. 201 million for that Cinderella live action.
Never saw it.
And then just to shout out another movie we've done, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation at number 11.
Nice.
Internationally, things are mostly the same. Spectre got a big boost internationally, took it up to the number 6 spot for $880.6 million. Number 1 movie again, Star Wars. Number 2, Jurassic World, yada, yada, yada. So, it's interesting. We talk about, just to hear, unadjusted, Spectre is the second highest grossing Bond movie of all time, behind Skyfall. It goes Skyfall, Spectre, Quantum of Solace, Casino Royale, which makes a certain amount of sense because Casino Royale got people back. People went to see the sequel, and we're like, Skyfall. Everybody went for that one. There must have been, everybody was like, yes, this is the James Bond we want. And then Spectre. And so Daniel Craig pretty much holds the spot on the top grossing movies. Now, again, that's unadjusted. So if you were to adjust these for modern price, for, inflation and all that, things might change. We talk about money a lot, but we don't really talk about what that means in terms of pure profit. Interestingly enough, I actually have a stat here for the pure profit that Spectre made.
Of course you do.
And I just want to talk about it from an interesting perspective. $880 million.
You got 2 minutes to talk about this interesting perspective.
And $880 million worldwide. You know what that amounts to in terms of profit?
A lot.
Only 28 million.
Only
28 million.
That'd make my life.
I know. I mean, well, but like where these movies make money is a lot of times in merchandise. All right, let's go to the letterbox game. That's it for me this week.
Nice.
I thought we had like 9 minutes left. I'm sorry.
We did.
I don't have the timer.
We did.
Who won last week? Do you remember, David?
Oh no, it's on my.
I think it was you.
It was one of you
last
two,
week.
I think.
Yeah, I did. I won last week, as usual.
Okay, then I'm gonna guess 3.3.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with 2.9.
2.9.
I'm gonna go with 3.1.
Okay. All right, that makes our job very easy. Your winner this week is Andrew.
Hey.
Because it's 3.1 exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Nice.
Nailed it, Andrew. Nailed it. All right. Well, I'm gonna give my rating is a 3.5 for me.
Okay.
I think it's fair. 3.5 as well.
Wow. I think it's just gonna get a 2.5 from me. I think it's good.
Wow, yeah, okay. That was nice. I was trying to remember what you gave Quantum of Solace, and I think you gave that a 2.5 as well.
I'll have to check because if that's the case, then that one's gonna go lower.
Yeah, you might.
I think it's a 3.5 for me as well. So I think I'll join you two in that.
Because it's not quite as good. I would put it right now. It's Skyfall, Casino, Spectre, Quantum.
Same. What's our rating, Josh?
That's a 3.25. I had to do the math real quick.
Hey,
It's pretty close.
I'm close to the aggregate.
So we'll be back next week with the long-awaited No Time to Die. Find us online, somanysequels.com. We will see you then.
There is no more time in this review.